so value of m will be 1 and it will return back. But it was not happening. You're getting error like out of global stack even for factorial of 1. And yesterday we have found out that how to resolve this query. So we added extra variables here. So this was our solution. Factorial of n can be p. N1 is n minus 1. So n minus 1 value is stored in n1. N1 new variable we have introduced. And this is a recursive call. Factorial of n1 is n. And what is p? P is m into n. So this was our solution. And how to read this program? Factorial of 0 is 1 for this fact. Factorial of 0 is 1. And for this fact, to read this, factorial of n is p if n1 is n minus 1 and factorial, this comma means and factorial of n1 is n, then value of p, that is solution, is m into n. And we are getting the proper solution. And we have solved this on our editor. Let me open the editor also, if we need it. Now just we are adding it some more rules to make it more readable. So it was factorial of n is p, and we are saying n is n minus 1, factorial of n1 is n, and p is m into n. What we are doing is not n equal to 0. Means if n is equal to 0, we have already this fact. And this fact is for not n is equal to 0. Value of n other than 0 should match with this query. So this makes rule mutually exclusive, either this or this, not both at a time. So you will not get another answer or you will not get another error like global stack if you press next. No. If you press next, it will give you an error. Because what Prolog does, it will always start from first rule, second rule till the end of your function. So you have to explicitly tell that this rule is for n equal to 0, this rule is for n other than 0. We'll check it. So factorial of 0 is 1. This is our first fact. And what was the rule? Factorial of n is p, provided that n1, first we'll write without not. n1 is equal to n minus 1. If it takes value of n1, n at 0, and 0 minus 1, n1 will be minus 1. N minus 1, then fact n1 should be m. Then answer is, what is value of p? N into n. n1 is n minus 1, factorial of n1 is m, and p is m into n. P is n into m or m into n, doesn't matter. So if we write factorial of 5z, we were getting answer, proper answer. This is not assignment, we have to write is. So we are getting factorial of 5 is 120. Now here can you see next button? So if I press next button, again it will search for the query and getting the error stack exceeded. or global stack error. Because there is a next button, we have two queries which are matching with fact. So again, it will take another value and check is it matching. So we want either this or this. So to make it exclusive, we add one more rule here. If n not equal to 0, then match with this. Otherwise, first query is there to match. So not n equal to 0. We added one more rule. And again, we'll run the same query. So now it is showing false instead of going into the infinite loop again. And next button is not there. So it makes the rule mutually exclusive. Mutually exclusive means there is nothing common in between. This part and this part, they are not sharing any common things. First fact is for n is equal to 0. Second fact is for other than 0. So how to improve readability? The program we have seen in the first unit, characteristics of good programming. Program should be readable, writability, readability, orthogonality. So to make this program readable, it's better to write one clause per line. Right in C, like in C program, we write every new instruction on new line. So here clauses are, this is one clause, this is another clause, one condition. So here we can write not n equal to 0, n1 is n minus 1, factorial, and then p. So it is better. Program is same, but how you present it, how you write it. Python makes it implicit. You have to make your program intended. The indentation is not compulsory in C, C++, Java. You can write everything on the straight line. Here also there is nothing mentioned about the syntax, but it's better to write the new clause on new line to improve the readability. Yes? No is for next condition, like here. We are getting false. False means no. So Z is what it does is we have sent 5 and Z. So it will match 5. 5 is not matching with 0. So it will match with this fact. Value of n is 5. We have to find out what is value of p. Z is p here. Value of 5 is it will check it is not 0. So it will find out n1. n1 is 5 minus 1, that is 4. Then it will call factorial again for 4 and m, then 3 and m, 2 and m, 1 and m, 0 and m. And then it will get 0, value for 0 is, answer is 1. So 1 into 1, then 2 into 1, then 3 into 2, 3 into 4, 6 into 4, and 24 into 5. So you'll get the answer 120. Finally, means after all the recursive steps, you'll get answer 120. You'll come back, and next means again it will check whether the value of z is 0. No, z is 5 here. So it is not matching with this query, and this query is already done. So it will print false or no. We'll again start with this example. We started prologue with this example. So these are facts and rules. This is our program. It says there is an age between A to B. There is age between B to C. There is age between B to D. There is age between D to E and age between D to F. So from D we have two ages, D to E and D to F. And we are defining these two rules, path from X to X, means every point has its own path. A to A is true, path B to B is true. And path X to Y, from for example path A to C. We can say that there is a path between A to C if there is age between A to X, Z and Z to Y. So we know this rule and these queries. If we pass age A to B, it will match this query with the fact, and if it found exact similar fact, it will written S. In our case, it is written in true and false. S and known is true and false. Path A to A, yes. Path A to E, A to E, yes. Why? So it will find out where is is there any age between A to Z. So there is one age A to B. Then it will search for B to Y. So again, path B to Y will call this age B to Z. So from B, there are two paths, B to C, B to D. B to C will not lead. So it will take on second option, B to D. From D, there are two paths, E and F. You get the path for B to E. So there is a path between A to E. So this is true. E to A, no, there is no path from E to A. Note that here I have not shown any arrows. This is undirected graph. So when you talk about undirected graph, means there is a path between age between A to B and B to A. So if it is saying A to E is a S, so I should able to go back from E to A. It should written S. Why it is written in no here? And what should I do to make it S? You need to provide more facts. So you need to provide, if there is a path between X to Y, there is a path between Y to X. So only this, if you provide this rule, it will return true for path E to A. So how to define an undirected graph? So what we have done here, A to B, there is a age, B to C, B to D, D to E, D to F. These are all our ages or facts. This is our rule, path XY and path XY. Age between X to Z, path between Z to Y. We have added just one more rule. If there is a age between X to Y and X is not equal to X, means X and Y, that point is not the same point. There is the A comma B. Age should be from A to B. Then there is a age between B to E. Then there is a age between Y to Z. Means if there is a age between A to B, you can say that there is a age between B to A. If there is age between B to C, there is a age between C to B. So either you can add this rule or you can say path XY, then if there is a path between X to Y, you can say there is a path between Y to X. But still it is not showing there is an age between B to E. Path B to E is no. Why? No, X is equal to Y means you are passing two variables A, B. It is the same variable. So we have already seen there is a path between X to X. So if there are the two rules for same, the compiler will get, it is ambiguity. That's why not X equal to Y. The point should be different points for an age. It should show because let me check it. What we have to check? Path B to A. First we'll see path A comma B. It is written in true. And if I press next, it is saying false. Because is there any other path from A to B? There is only one path. That's why it is returning false. For example, in this case, if you look at this figure, to reach, there is no cycle. So there are no multiple paths to reach a particular point. Otherwise, you may get different paths or two times true if there are multiple paths to reach the particular point. After the first success or whatever the how many answers are there, those answers you will get. For example, here if I want path from A to Z, now Z is a variable. How many paths are there from variable A to Z? So as per this graph, from A I can go to B, C, D, E, F and A itself. So I should get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 paths. So if I run this code, so at first it will show Z is equal to A itself. Because we have this rule X to X. If I press next, it will match with this query. So there is a path between A to B. So it will first match A to B and path is from B to B. Path is from B to B. So this is second answer. If I press next, then it will say C, then D, then E, F, and again if I press next, it will return false. And there is no next button. Now what I want, is there a path from so B to E is true. Yes, B to E is true. Why is showing no? Now before this not, if this command we comment this, we have defined only directional graph instead of unidirectional. If there is a edge between A to B, we are not saying that there is a edge between B to A. If this is commented and I'll try to run, then it will show B to E there is a path. I want to check whether there is a path from E to B. Saying false. Still it is saying false. If there is an edge, still it is not able to resolve this query. We'll check, we'll add one more thing. Implies that path y to x. If there is a path between x to y, we are saying that there is a path exists between y to x. It is in the infinite loop, recursion. There is no edge between. But we have written this, no? So let me start the camera. We'll try manually how it works. We want path E to B. Path E to B. And what is our rule? Path X to Y. If there is a path between X, we can say that there is a path from X to Y, provided that there is edge from X to Z and path from Z to Y. So value of your X is E and Z is B. No, Z we have to find out. So what are the edges from E to Z? So is there a path which starts with E? No. In fact, we have the edges starting from A, B and D. We didn't have an edge starting with E. But there is a rule. Edge X comma Y says that there is a edge Y comma Z. So then again it will start matching where E should be on edge. What is this? Say P to E. So value of X is E. Value of X is E. So that is at the A. So it will try to match a path where E is second element. Yes, there is a path where edge is at the second line. E. So value of P will be rule number 4, D. So yes, there is an edge between E to D. So that means there is an edge between E to D. So in that case, you will get the output for Z as D. Then this Z will be provided here. Is there a path from D to Y? What is Y?
Ma'am,
Yes.
can you adjust the camera?
Is it visible? Is it visible? So value of Z will be D and Y is P. And again it will call path XY formula. Path D to B. We want to find out path from D to B. Provided that is there an edge from D to something, say Z, and path from Z to B. Now D, yes, I have two edges matching with T. So value of Z can be E and F. And from E to B, is there a path from E to B or F to B? So again it has to match it with that rule, E x comma y. So there is no edge from E to B, but there is a edge from yeah. D to E F and B. Yes, it will get B also because there is a path between D to B, so B to D. Now, this value of Z, we have to put E, F, and D, and it should return the result. But what will this is not getting executed. You check whether edge is working properly or not instead of path. First, we'll check whether it is returning true for edge. Is there? If we are saying there is an edge between D to E, so for E to D, it should return true. If there is an edge between D to E, for E to D, it should return true. It is returning true. If I am saying is there an age between B to D, so for D to B it should written, so it's returning true. What are the ages from or D to? We have to check the path. We'll take instead of indirect path, we'll check the direct path. For example, here there is a path between A to C. So we'll see C to A. In false. If I see, is there a path from C to something X, C to C, and for next thing it is saying false. This is not working. Age. It's just taking X as whatever C, and there is no age from C anymore. So it should take the age from C to B. This is not working. We'll come to this example later. We'll try to find out the solution for this. So when you issue a query in Prolog, what are the possible responses of the Prolog? So when we put likes is already in the database. So suppose we have the list of likings of the students. For example, student X likes this subject, Y likes another subject like this. We have a database of the student and courses, and we have fired a query whether this student Johnsat likes this subject. Subject code is there. So you will get S if this query is in the database, if this fact is in the database. If this fact is not there, it will return no. Or if we pass something like X, Y, Z here, it will return value which is matching with that particular fact. For example, here age from A to Z. So it was returning all the values for Z. So there is a age from D to E, D to F, D to B. So if you pass a variable, it will find out possible values of that variable. So these are different ways how Prolog responds to the queries. It will match query with the fact and return the result true or false. Otherwise, if the query is not complete, you are providing some variable, it will return values for that variable. So here, this fact is not added in our database. So it is returning false. So false, does it mean this student does not like this chemistry subject? We can assume that for that particular database. So for given facts, we can say that yes, the student may not like that subject. Or here we can say that there is a no age between E to B, because as per our database, we didn't have mentioned age from that particular vertex to another particular vertex. So this is called closed world assumption. So given a fact, we assume that these facts means true, and we define a rule. If it doesn't fit with the fact and rule, we can say that it's a false. Because we are making some assumptions and we are going with those assumptions. For example, we were trained for all viral diseases, but COVID was new and the symptoms was unknown. That was not added in our database. So every time we need to update the database unless and until it should say whether this report is true or false. If it is not there in the database, it may say false, but that can be a true part, right? So this is called closed world assumptions. So you can search on what is meaning of closed world assumptions. How does this affect interpretation of the result from Prolog? So if we assume that this data is true and you try to get the answer, you will get what are the answers based on the available facts. So the solution is keep updating your database. Now Prolog also supports list processing. Like we have seen Prolog program, it has just list of facts, rules and queries. And in previous lecture we have seen about cut. And it has, what are these? What we pass to this? These are called items. And these are variables. X, Z, these are variables. It can take value from user. And this is also a variable. But like Lisp or Python, Prolog also supports list processing. We can pass list as a parameter to Prolog queries and Prolog rules. So in a list, like you know, lists are in square brackets. So there is head and tail. Head slash tail. Head is first node from the list, first element of the list, and tail is list without first element. Remove first element and whatever the remaining is called tail. List without first element is called tail. So like CAR in list or scheme, you studied CAR. CAR returns first element of the list and CDR returns list without first element. So CDR in scheme or list, similar to that, if you write this H vertical bar T and the list either A, B, C, D, E or 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, it will return H is A and T is list without first element. We'll check it. Now we are using online editor. Some features may not run on online editor. I don't know whether it will work or not. So it's working good. It's saying head is A and tail is B, C, D, E. If I change this value instead of HT, if I say A and B, what we have done is A vertical bar B. So A is nothing but head, first element, and B is, so vertical bar will divide head from a tail. So you have this one more tool to work with. This can be used to build list and decompose list. Can use H and T to left side or to deconstruct a list. For example, path. Now we are coming back to our example. Path X to Y. Now what we are saying? X T. We are talking about a unidirectional graph, or we can have multiple paths from a particular node. For example, A can go to B, C, D. So this I can store as head and this I can store as tail. So path, when we are saying path X comma Y, so I want X as a head and whatever the paths or edges starting from A. So here, this is the path A to E. This is the path A to F. But this should be stored as tail. A is my head and whatever these are edges starting from A. So here X, Y, how to read this term? Path X comma Y, X becomes a head and whatever P is the tail. Then we are saying edge to node. Node, what are the edges starting from X? Those are stored in node. And node to Y. There should be a path from node to Y with this P. P is tail. Y is we want to find out path from A to E. So here A is X, A is Y. Suppose I want to check whether there is a path from A to E. So A will be X and Y, E will be Y. So we are decomposing it into, instead of passing two variables, I pass one more variable, which is x p, which is a list. So A and tail. Now what is P? So path is defined as there should be edge from X to node and there is a path from node to Y. That was our rule. Edge from X to Z and path from Z to Y. So edge from X to Z and path from, instead of Z we are calling it as node and node to Y from this list of remaining part, not from the head. So here, in this case, we'll not write these rules. We'll just write this rule. Path x to y is x to p, h is from x to node. Instead of node, I'll call it as z. And path from z to y. And what we want to check, is there a path from, I need to write a path, this rule, path x to x. To take three parameters. Path should take three parameters. One is start, end, and path, destination. We can use list for other operations like member of. Suppose we want to check whether a member is, if the particular element is member of that list or not. So member A, B, C, D. It will say no. A is not the member of this list, B, C, D. If you say X, A1, B2, C3, D4, so value of X, it will take A1, B2, C3, D4, all values. Can be used to have prolog try all values of a list as values of a variable. We can check this member function. You can directly copy it from PPT and paste it here. For query, dot is not required. It is just needed for facts. Member returns true if element is a member of a list. There is an error in our code. It has nothing to do with this query. It was trying to run the code. So A is not member of this list, B is a member of the list. Can we have nested lists? yes, E is member of the list, but if I say member C, small c, what it will return, true or false? C is not the member. It is a CD. A list is a member. It will just check what are the elements of that list. That list contains C, D, and B, comma CD as a one member, and then E. So for we are checking whether C is member of this list. No, C is a member of sub list. Then another function is we are assigning values to a variable from the list. So instead of let's see, if you write say any variable z and the list is 1, 2, 3, 4. So it will return every time one element 1, 2, 3, 4. So z will take values from that list. So member can be used as a predicate which returns either true or false. So use member to try all values of a list, useful for problems like queen safety or enumerating possible rows and columns in a game. Normally it is used for designing a game like tic-tac-toe or 8 queens problem. So you can design a game using Prolog. Predict next step. If you are using tic-tac-toe with two users, one should put cross and one should put zero. So if the first player, I put cross, what are the possible ways? Or there are 9 positions where one can go. So from this location, I can go to left, right, or if it is a corner node. So how many ways are there? And if it is occupied, what should be my next row? And how to win? What are the possible wins? So because of if I want to lead to a win, what should be my next like action? So dump function to find square root of 9. We can define a function we define functions in Prolog, list or scheme. So here function means a rule. In Prolog, function means a rule. Like we have written a rule for path using age. So here we have to write square root 9. Square root of 9 is 3, we know. So square root of 9, member n, we have to check whether n is member of this list. So it will return true and n into n. It returns square of each function and whose square is matching with 9, that is the square root of 9. It will return 3. So what it will do is 9 is n into n. So it is fact. 9 is n into n. But what is n? N is member from 1 to 9. So it will check 1 to 1 is not matching with 9, 2 to 2 is not matching with 9, 3 to 3 is matching with 9. So value of n will be 3. Oh, time हो गया. So we'll continue with the list function in the next lecture. Stop presenting.